Friends, we have been generally talking about our civilization and how to nurture and foster it. But then we have some very real threats that we cannot ignore, and these threats are emerging on our borders with countries like Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, China, and the way it's building up. It doesn't seem so now, but the way it's building up, these are some very dark, ominous clouds which have serious implications for our country. And it is in this respect that we have invited retired Wing Commander BJP Rao to share with us some of his observations and thoughts in regard to these developments. And let us welcome Wing Commander B. Jayaprakash Rao. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan Rao, and good afternoon, all young friends. It's a privilege to be able to get across you on this channel on something as important as geopolitical developments in our neighborhood that impact us. So as you're aware, on 27th March, just last month, China and Iran have entered into a 25-year comprehensive strategic partnership. And now that was a bolt from the blue. As you're aware, both China and Iran don't have a very good relationship at the moment with the US. So it was a case of my enemy's enemy is my friend. And now let us go systematically as to exactly how does this impact India. Starting with Iran. As you're aware, India imports 80% of its crude oil from abroad. And Iran was a major supplier. And we had paid for certain supplies. But because of the American sanctions that have been slapped on Iran, those supplies we had paid for were allowed to trickle in. But thereafter, the tap was closed. So Iran as a source has closed, and we have to search for alternatives, number one. Number two is that, as you're aware, Afghanistan is a landlocked country, and it has been plagued by internal instability and war for over 4 decades. And India, though not having boots on the ground, has been helping Afghanistan in to make it a stable and prosperous country.
By boots on the ground, you are referring to direct military intervention or soldiers on ground zero out there. But otherwise, we do have political interest and civil interest in Afghanistan.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
We have not gone in for any direct military intervention.
It is important to point out here that our official border, we do share a border with Afghanistan. But then because of the Pak-occupied Kashmir under Pakistan control now, we do not have a direct border with Afghanistan at the moment. Am I right?
You're absolutely right on that. And that is why we were, due to our cozy relationship with Iran, which we had, both of us had decided to develop a port on the Makran coast known as Chabahar Port, and also to link that port with a place called Zaranj, which is at the tri-junction of Afghanistan, Iran and Pakistan, and to have a road and rail link from Chabahar to Zaranj. And among the first casualties of this China-Iran strategic partnership was that Iran unilaterally has pulled out of that agreement.
So Iran, with whom we had a pretty cordial relationship, is slowly moving away from us, and the Iranian lion is now being consumed by the Chinese dragon, as far as I understand. So Iran is completely coming under the Chinese umbrella and very much influenced by them.
You're right. Okay. You're right. Actually, Iran is in a corner, and it is desperate for some economic help. And towards this aspect, actually, the Chinese have almost given them $400 billion couple of 2 months back or so, as advance payment for secure oil supplies.
Future supplies.
You see? So these are the two immediate impacts of Iran, getting into this pact with China. Now let's see what China gains from this. Firstly, China gets a foothold in West Asia. And Iran, being in the proximity of both Central Asia and South Asia, the foothold helps them to have a better grip on the entire, not only West, but central parts of Western Central Asia and South Asia.
So it's a strategic location, and that's why the 25-year strategic partnership.
Absolutely. Yeah. You must have also known about the Chinese plan, for the Belt and Road Initiative, which wherein it roped a lot of countries to build the land connectivity. And just for your information, the China-Europe rail link is already operational. Non-stop rail link is already operational. You see, so now this foothold in Iran is going to give a big fillip to the Belt and Road Initiative plans of China, right? And as you're aware, Gwadar port in Pakistan was the southern tip of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and the northern tip being the Kunjarat Pass. Now, Chabahar would have been a kind of a counter-magnet to that port, which is now not there because the chapter is
they've cancelled the
closed.
contracts with us.
They pulled out of the contract.
Nay,
Okay.
imagine.
Now, what else does China gain from this? It's like this now. Come to Afghanistan. You find that the south of Afghanistan has a common border with Pakistan, which is already in the Chinese orbit. The west of Afghanistan has a common border with Iran, which has also got into Chinese orbit. So now I'm very worried about the future of Afghanistan, especially with the Americans desperate to get out. Because already the Afghan war is the longest war in US history, and they want to do so saving face.
Yes, and now today Biden announced that by the date of anniversary of 9/11, he'll have all his troops out of Afghanistan. So that's going to create a kind of a vacuum in Afghanistan, sir. And what are its implications to us? I mean, for more than a decade now, China has been willy-nilly exploiting Africa for its minerals. And now they find new ground in Afghanistan. And Afghanistan is at least half the size of India, even though it doesn't look that much on the map.
Implications are very serious because once again, the area is going to get destabilized. The Taliban was vacated from Afghanistan, but they were not out. They were down, not out. They are just, lying in the bush. And the moment the Americans are out, even while the Americans are there, occasionally they carry out terror attacks to show that they are still a potent force. The Haqqani network and all these guys. So that's my biggest worry because the Pakistani terrorists, the Afghan Taliban, and the remnants of the Al-Qaeda, remnants of the ISIS from West Asia, now all these thugs have gathered in Afghanistan. And now they have the backing of China and Pakistan. They have the backing of China and Pakistan. It's going to be a cakewalk in case China wants to walk in because they will purchase Afghanistan.
So Russia, at a huge cost, moved into Afghanistan and exited after 10 years. And then the US moved in, and after another very huge expenditure and cost to themselves, after 20 years, they are now in a hurry to move out. And that leaves a vacuum in Afghanistan into which, with the help of Pakistan, China can just simply walk in. Now, that is just like it's available on a platter for the Chinese. And once these guys walk in, I don't think it'll be easy to get them out with their numbers.
So now it becomes a clean sweep in the northwest, you see, Mohan. It's a clean sweep now because Pakistan, Afghanistan most likely will be, again, it depends upon the Pakistan, the Pakistani state because which regards Afghanistan as its backyard. Okay. And also the Afghans have been known to be fiercely independent.
Yes.
Okay. But last time they were able to face the Americans, the Russians because of Pakistani help. Now this time its role becomes extremely crucial because without Pakistani help, even the Afghan Taliban or the others may not be able to really stop China from moving in. Now, what makes us more worried is that Afghanistan, is a treasure house of a lot of mineral resources. So both Balochistan as well as Afghanistan are going to be the new virgin areas for the Chinese to exploit.
So now, with Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, China, all ganging up together, we have very thick, dark, ominous clouds on our borders.
Absolutely. And given the present unrest in Burma, we need to watch out because if Burma also goes, okay, then we are surrounded from all sides except the Indian Ocean.
So this is a
except
very,
the
very
Indian
serious
Ocean.
threat, and I'm wondering that whilst we are busy,
Yeah.
with protests against CAA and protests against farm laws, we don't even want to focus on this side where the country is being surrounded on all sides with thick and anti-India forces that we're not even bothered about, and it's alarming, really alarming.
So the message is very clear on the wall. We are on our own. No country is going to, barter its own interests in trying to, fish somebody else out of trouble. So the sooner we get entirely self-reliant, I know it's not possible to be doing it entirely overnight, but we have to be very conscious, that it has a very serious implication for the future in case we want to retain our sovereignty. So we have to, pull ourselves by the
It is
bootstraps
tough.
and become stronger economically. That makes us stronger diplomatically and militarily.
Thank you very much, Wing Commander. I think that was very enlightening and very much needed to be able to convey to whoever is able to listen to it. I think whilst we are grappling with all of these things, we need to get prepared. How do we counter this? And I think if possible, we will come back to you for more details around these same problems, so that we are able to get much more granularity into the kind of problems and the kind of challenges we face in all these sectors from those areas. But thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Grateful. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mohan. Thank you. And it would be a pleasure to come back again.
Thanks.